Hey loves, it's me again. Y'all take what y'all need to take, leave the rest, okay? Um, Always remember awareness is half the battle and that we love, we heal, and we rise above it all, y'all. Okay, positive vibes, good vibes only. Y'all, this is gonna be a healing reading today, okay? Um, all negative energy is returned back to its owner, returned back to its sender. You guys, the list is open for anyone that wants to get on the list. It is at discount price right now. All right. Also, if you just want to donate to the channel to me to say I love you, I support you, and I appreciate you, all of that is down below, as well as the link to my other channel. Y'all help me get to 1,000 subscribers over there. Okay. Support your girl. All right. We're going to get into this. So look, y'all, remember to reverse the roles as they need to be reversed. Okay, switch the positions as they need to be switched. 5-5 is significant. Time stamp it. Y'all know I ain't gonna lie to you now. Okay, change is here. All right, and with this healing read, we're gonna do lower self, middle self, and higher self, but there's something here with the mental space. Okay, and there is something shifting in your mental space, right? And there has been things that was done to you, okay? There has been things that was projected upon you when it comes to the mental space. It has been even things as small as the news, right? That made your mind revert or transition to a lower state when it comes to the mental. Okay. Meaning like this is like thinking bad. Okay. This is like fear, right? Fear-based energy. Okay, so we're gonna get into this, y'all. Cheers to all my coffee lovers. Yes. Yes. Okay. Let me know, y'all. Email me what's a good creamer. Okay, I am obsessed with creamers, y'all. I don't put sugar in my coffee at all. I stopped using sugar a long time ago with food, with anything, y'all. More herbs, more things like that. Y'all, if you found a good creamer, a bomb creamer, y'all, let me know, because I'm a creamer girl and I think I want a collection. Okay, y'all. Spiritual guys, angels, ancestors, the purest and the highest white light. And thinking about coffee, right? Let's talk about coffee real quick, since we're talking about the mental space, right? Coffee is actually good for you. What makes it bad, and coffee has crystals in it. It is of the earth, okay? And it's actually really good for you. Go look up the spiritual meaning of coffee, the spiritual attributes of coffee, okay? What makes it dirty is the sugar, okay? So let's see. We were lied to. So it's kind of like this energy where it's like you got to start reversing the things. You got to start like if this person tells you this one thing, 9 times out of 10, if it's coming from an oppressor, do the total opposite, right? Okay, so let's get into this lower self energy. Because I was gonna say miscellaneous energy, but I think I picked up on that already. So it's like the mental space. You know, it's the because your mental space was targeted because that's where the manifestations lies. That's where the vision lies. That's where you get what I'm saying. So this is like distorted energy, distorted view. Okay. There were some energies that wanted you to have a distorted view when it comes to certain people, places, things, items like coffee, things like that. So it's just like talking about the judicial system. Like, yes, some people in the judicial system is bad for, but some people in the judicial system actually really helps people. Okay. So it's like that, right? It's that borderline. It's that gray. It's that, you get me? And then as I'm talking about the judicial system, and then 4 pops up. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. The world card. Okay. This is giving me the energy. Okay. The world tricking you, fooling you, right? This is this lower self energy here, meaning like, okay, you could have went to school and your school could have taught you something, right? The school could have debunked the truth and told you lies, right? This is history. Okay, it's that kind of energy. It's the world, right? The world tricking you. Like I said, it's the news, right? It's what you watch, it's what people say, it's what you feed into, it's what you allow to consume your mind. Okay, and a lot of these energies, and a lot of these energies, I was debunking something, y'all. A lot of these energies try to play on the mental space. Okay. And a lot of the times we don't know that it's happening because people don't talk about it. People don't talk about mental abuse, right? All they talk about is physical, really. Okay. They don't talk about spiritual abuse. They don't talk about mental abuse. They don't talk about psychological abuse, right? They don't talk about those kind of things. Okay. So how do we know how to identify it? How do we know that it's actually going on? 555. How do we know that it's actually going on, right? Without the right terminology, without the right understanding and understanding of what's going on. This is why a lot of you get the flight or flight energy, because intuitively your body knows somebody is attacking you, and 9 times out of 10 it is the mental space. They're trying to play on your mental, but because you were not taught that mental abuse is a thing, psychological abuse is a thing, you think that you're tripping. You think that you're overthinking. You think that, and you're not. 3-3. Okay, so we just seen 5-5 already. We just seen 3-3. Y'all, what else? We see 4-4. Okay, I knew it was another number, 4-4. So, and I know this is probably going to come out in like the middle self and higher self, but this is like, because it touches base with you creating, right? And whoever is in control of the evil world, the wicked world, right? They create these tricks and schemes and things like that. They allow people to do whatever because, of course, they want control. They want this, they want that. 7-11. Okay, rolling the dice. Okay, and it's more so of, okay, because you got to think about it. If we let you guys create your own world, then you guys are now in power of your own world and we lose ours. Okay. Somebody gonna be mad about that, but it is what it is, y'all. The truth is the truth. Take it up with God, okay? But yeah, the world, things like that. Okay. So let's see. Anything else, Spirit, here for the lower self energy, y'all? I feel like that's self-explanatory, and I already picked it up intuitively, and here it is coming out. Yeah. Praying on your downfall as well. So it's kind of like this. So y'all know when like energies and people are like, oh, it's not that easy. It can't happen like that. Well, with God, it can. I mean, if I believe it can, right? So it's like distorted views in that energy as well. Like, well, you need to do this, and you gotta go here, and you gotta, you gotta do this. Like, okay, for example, for me, right? I wanted to go to school for business. And, my parental figures or whatever like that, they tried to play me when it came to school. So I ended up trying to, even though they didn't want me, whatever, to go and all of that other stuff, when I branched out, I still tried to go after what I wanted. And it was business. And I was being blocked in each and every way, shape, or form when it came to school. I couldn't go back to school until I was independent, right? And independent is like, 24, 25, something like that. So I had to wait. Okay. So when I got that age, I tried to go back to school, but it was being blocked, right? And I just kept asking God, like, oh, why is it blocked? Why is it blocked? Why is it blocked? Okay. But the world makes us think we need school. But God said, hey, baby, you don't need school. So next thing you know, all right, and we rebuke that too. Next thing you know, I get a job. And within 6 months, not even, I become assistant manager and manager, right? So I am running a business. You get what I'm saying? So God ended up teaching me hands-on without school how to run a business. Y'all get what I'm trying to say? So God was like, you don't have to go, you don't have to watch this. What you want to do? Oh, okay, I'm going to place you here where you can just see it. You can just do it. You can just be it. Okay. And God was like, see, you know how to run a business. Okay. So it's like that. It's that energy. Okay. Where spirit's like, well, you got to jump through all these loops and hoops and dupes. And you got to know, like, when it comes to the system, it is a money game. Okay, so of course they're going to tell you, you got to do this, you got to do this. And 9 times out of 10, what? It costs what? Moolah. It's a money game. Okay, and you got to think back in time. Back in time, we didn't need all of this. Okay, back in time, we just had businesses. Back in time, we just supported each other. Back in time, we didn't need LLCs. We didn't need none of that. You get what I'm saying? Okay, all you really just needed was a business name, all of that extra good stuff. Okay, so it's things like that, right? Where it's like, oh, well, you gotta, they make you feel like you gotta do all of these things to accomplish this. And spirit is like, no. All right, spiritual guides, angels, ancestors of the purest and the highest twilight, only the truth and nothing but the truth. Anything else, okay, for this lower self energy here? Anything else for this lower self energy? Y'all, this middle self and higher self energy, it probably won't be too much because we're talking about it is mixing in the mix. Okay, yeah, balance. Okay, so this is like even with the caring, like the doctors. So for instance, for me, 1, 2, 3 divine order, right? So when I was a kid, I always went to this doctor. My parents always took me to this doctor, or my guardians always took me to this doctor. But then when I branched off and I was by myself, I went to this doctor by myself one day. But when I was with these guardians, I had eczema, right? Now, if you know spiritually, eczema just means somebody's doing black magic on you, things like that. Okay, 5-5. And so when I went to the doctor without this parental figure, he told me, he's like, you don't have eczema. And I'm looking at him all crazy, like, what? You've diagnosed me with that for years. Okay. And then all of a sudden I don't have it. Okay. And y'all, let me tell y'all, I don't break out ever since I've been away from these people and I that environment. I don't break out. Okay. So it's things like that as well. Oh, you have this, but really you don't have it. You get me? Oh, well, you have to go through this, right? Like, for instance, in the caring professions. Oh, well, you got to take these pills for this and that when a herb can cure you, right? Like, okay, for instance, like this. Let's talk about schizophrenia because they diagnosed me with that, right? Now, schizophrenia that's why they psych ward and things like that. But when they tried to put me in the psych ward or whatever, that was just more so a lot of gifted people was in there and they tried to bully me spiritually in there, all kind of stuff. But anyway, so it's like that. Let's talk about schizo, right? So schizophrenia, they tried to diagnose me with bipolar, depression, schizo. I know I have PTSD. Okay, but that's post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay, from all of the things that's a whole nother story, right? But let's talk about schizophrenia. So schizophrenia basically is what you hear things, you see things, things like that, right? But really, that is your gifts. You actually do hear things. You actually do hear on the other side. Like, it's not a trick. It's not a game. It's not a joke. You actually hear what people have spoken about you, said about you. You actually hear the plots and the plans and the tricks and the schemes. Like, you actually hear that stuff, okay? But they make people believe that schizophrenia is something is wrong with you. Oh, schizo people think everybody is out to get them. 144. Okay, somebody, you are a chosen seed. So it's like, oh, everybody's out to get me. And it's like, no, they really are trying to get me. And I pick up on it. I feel it. I'm hearing the conversations. Like, I'm hearing, like, you get what I'm saying? Okay, it's things like that. And so if you didn't know that was a gift, you would think you were crazy. You were literally think you were crazy. You would literally think you were off your rocker, but you're not. Okay, same thing with like bipolar, right? They try to diagnose me with bipolar. And basically bipolar, what it is just simply you are spiritually inclined. Okay, so if your soul and your spirit doesn't sit right with a particular energy, you're gonna distance yourself. Your vessel, your spirit is gonna close down to that particular energy because it does not want it in its energetic field. It does not resonate with you. It's not supposed to mix and mingle. And so this is why some people get irritated with certain people, or like don't want to be around and things like that. And y'all, we could go a little bit deeper, but it's things like that, okay? So somebody it's this reverting of the mind. It's the reversing of what they try to implant in the mind. Okay, let's take a sip for a hot second. Yes. All right. So let's see anything else. Yeah, the judicial system as well. Okay. So things about the judicial system. Okay. So caring professions, the judicial system, right? They make people believe, oh, those lawyers don't care about you. Those police officers don't care about you. That judge don't care about you, which sometimes that is true. But that's not the case for everything. That's not the case for a lot of things, right? Like I said, it's gray areas here. Okay, some people really do truly care. Okay. I'm trying to think of okay, yes, let's talk about the judicial system. So boom. And I'm going to use myself as an example always. So for instance, right, the judicial system is what? There to protect you, right? To serve and protect. And so that's kind of what people think, right? And there is a flip side to it. So it makes people feel safe, but then when you actually have an encounter with these energies, it's the total opposite. For example, I remember this one time I had ended up calling the police, right, for my safety, my protection. Lights ended up going out. Didn't know why. Like it was the middle of the night. Heard somebody tugging and pulling on the window, and so ended up calling the landlord, all of that good stuff, and sent someone over, right? And they was saying the outside, somebody clipped the lights from the outside, so it was purposely done. But then, because he was gonna wait to come in the morning, and I was like, no. In the rising, he was gonna wait to come in the rising, and then I was like, no, I'm finna call for protection. Like, if he's saying somebody did that and somebody was tugging on the window, we're not just gonna sit and wait. So I ended up calling him for my protection, just to see what was going on and all of that other stuff. And they turned around and ended up trying to flip the script on me. Okay. Then they went in the back and they ended up telling me that nothing was wrong, nothing was tampered with, but we just already had someone come through that told us it was tampered with. Then this is what got them as well, was the light people came over. Like, how like ComEd or, the light people come. And as they're telling me, because the police went out there to go check themselves, and they were the ones that came in and was like, oh, nothing's wrong. Like, and I guess they was going to try to use that as leverage to try to, But anyway, the light people come in, and as they're telling me this, like, I kid y'all not, like 5 minutes later, he comes in and he's like, oh no, it was definitely tampered with. Somebody clipped the cord, like somebody clipped the thingy. And so now I'm looking at them like, oh, what was y'all plan? And I can only hope to help to think one thing, that y'all was in on whatever this is, right? And then tells me, oh, what they tried to do, because it didn't make sense. They tried to blame me for something, whatever the case is. They tried to find anything, flip the script, whatever. And then turns around and say, oh, it's not going to be on your background or nothing like that. We just want to basically that we handled the situation or something like that. It was like that, like something like that, y'all. And now, y'all, I'm new to this. This is my first time really dealing with the authorities. Okay, go to court. I tell my part. They drop the case, right? But then they wanted me to pay a court fee, which I didn't get, right? Because it's like, y'all don't want to who have me in court. But then the case get dropped. So why am I paying? So long story short, it ended up being more and more money over time, over the years. But before I ended up leaving that state, I ended up paying my dues, right? So it shouldn't be on there, but it's still on there, right? What y'all tried to demonize me as is still on my background, which was stopping a lot of jobs and extra stuff. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I thought. I personally thought, because when they read my stuff, I have nothing on my background. So they're like, oh, this girl, she's doing good for herself. She's black, and I was in like Honkyville, okay? And I'm saying that no disrespect in the sense of a lot of people that don't like, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't know that at the time, and so they tried it, right? But it's that energy where, oh, you're safe. You don't have to worry about nothing. But in a sense, they're supposed to protect you, but really you have the right to what? Bear arms. You have the right to what? Protect yourself. You have the right to, no matter who has on a suit. And I know a lot of people will get mad at me about this. Okay? But it's okay. Because the truth is the truth. So it's things like that where they say you can't do something or you can't. And y'all, how they played that whole situation, it was so crazy. Like, it was crazy. A lot of underhanded stuff. Like, y'all, if y'all was there in my shoes, you would have seen how fake it is. You would have seen how fake this stuff is. And it opened up my eyes to so much. It opened up my eyes to so much, y'all. Okay? And for a lot of you, this is different. Right? Some where it's like you got some people like, oh, they don't care about you, but you do have some that truly do care about you, right? Okay? So with stuff like that, let's see, spiritual guys, let's get that back into this lower self energy. Spiritual guides, angels, ancestors, appears in the highest white light. Only, okay, the truth and nothing but the truth. And then it's crazy because then it's like, the higher ups, when stuff happen, it's like the higher ups automatically believe them. And they be in the wrong, y'all. Like, they really be in the wrong. Okay, spiritual guides, angels, ancestors, of the appears in the highest white light. Yep, the tower in reverse. Okay. So what it's giving is a lot of fear mongering, a lot of things put into place to block you from moving forward, to stop you from moving forward, from taking your rights back, your grounds back. Okay. This is why you have a lot of states that's doing the stand your ground, because they know. But they try to convince us that we don't have the right to protect ourselves even when it comes to them. Okay? And we have the right to stand up for ourselves even when it comes to them. Okay? So let's get into this middle self energy, y'all. So it's basically, in the middle self energy, it's like this understanding, okay? Because they tried to trick us, fool us here. Okay, to make us think, or to put us in this cage or this cave or this box or this, you get what I'm saying? Spiritual guides, angels, ancestors, appears in the highest white light, only the truth and nothing but the truth. The middle self energy. What do you have for the collective when it comes to the middle self energy? And then also what I'm picking up is just the understanding of like knowing that, because fear helps bring them out of things, meaning like, if I can scare you into bowing down to me, right? Because I have recordings of that day, y'all, with the judicial system. I have recordings. And I sent it to, somebody that I knew that was a police officer in my hometown. I have recordings. And then they got so mad I was recording because the truth was in the pudding. I did nothing wrong. And it would have showed how they was treating us. They handcuffed me. That's my first time ever being handcuffed, y'all. They handcuffed me Wouldn't let me go to the bathroom. I was on my cycle. All kind of stuff. They handcuffed us and said, you listen here. Like, it was like, whoa, like, y'all on that type of time. And we didn't do nothing at all. But it was like, you niggers, listen here. And I was like, whoa. And they came in the house, sat at my table, got real comfortable. I got to call on them ancestors, though. Real bad. Okay. We ain't gonna talk about that, but yes. Okay, so it's the understanding of you coming out of whatever this is, okay? A lot of fear mongering, just a lot of fear mongering here. Spiritual guides, angels, ancestors, the purest and the highest white light, only the truth and nothing but the truth. Yeah. Okay, the truth. And we call judgment and we demand immediate justice too, right? On each and every situation. So let's see. Middle self energy spirit for the collective. Yeah. This is opening you up to your God power, right? So you understanding, and this is why they don't want you to know this stuff. This is why they try to captivate you. This is why they try to oppress you when it comes to this energy. And this is what spirit wants you to understand. All of that is fear, okay? Because somebody, you are a god, you are a goddess. I need you, spirit. It's like I need you to understand that you are a god and you are a goddess, okay? As long as you are balanced and you're not doing something in the wrong way or like taunting them and, you know, that kind of energy, you will always get your just due no matter what. Okay, you will always rise above whatever this is, and it's fear mongering. Okay, but spirit is like, I need you to understand and understand what has went on in your life and why you feel, or you used to feel or felt oppressed. Okay, and it's because of these energies. But now this is the new, now this is the transition, okay? And spirit wants you to understand that you are simply just being opened up into your God power, okay? And you can walk away from that. Spirit is like, I need you to understand that you can walk away from what they try to place in your mind, place in your brain, place in your, you get what I'm saying? Because now look at it, right? For example, there's a law. Everybody has to have a driver's license. And if you don't, and now all of a sudden you don't have to have a driver's license. It's that energy. This is the control, trying to control the masses, right? Trying to control the narrative, trying to control. It's just like this, right? Let's talk about the marijuana laws, right? That was illegal for a sense. They was locking people up, and they need to let everybody out that was locked up for it, that got caught for it, or whatever the case is, right? Because here it is. That's a herb. Example, that is a herb from mother. That is a healing herb from mother. And they try to what? Demonize it. Right? So now it's legal. Well, we know that it was illegal because y'all knew it was a healing herb. It's a healing herb. But y'all didn't want people waking up to the truth. So y'all demonized it. Locked the people up for it. You see that game? You see the game, y'all? Y'all see that game? Y'all locked people up for it. And then legalized it? Everybody needs to be free that ever got in trouble for it. Period. They need their reparations. Period. Okay. So spirit is saying, baby, I need you to understand, you can walk away from all of that. You don't have to be in bondage. This is them wanting you to be in bondage. That's black magic. That's what they were doing. Black magic on the masses. And spirit is like, baby, you don't have to bow down to that. You don't have to. And I want everybody to understand that this is not about rebellion. It's not about rebellion. Rebelling against. No, it's right. It's right. It is universally right. It's not about rebellious. Okay? It's not about rebellion. But people would look at it as rebellious. But it's not. It's just the truth. Right? So let's see anything else for the, yeah, Spirit wants you to understand this is where all of this stress came from. This is where all the worries is coming from. This is where, because it's beliefs. Okay, somebody done fed your mind with this. Somebody done fed your soul with this. They done fed your mind, fed your mind, fed your mind, fed your mind, fed your mind with bullshit. And then trying to actually reenact these things that they are trying to fill your mind up with to try to make it seem real. Okay? So Spirit's like, you can walk away. You don't have to. Okay? You don't have to believe in that. You don't have to bow down to that. You don't have to. Yeah. Okay? You don't have to bow down to that. Let's get more here about this middle self energy, Spirit. Yeah. And this is what Spirit is saying. I need you to understand, baby. That's what growth is. Growth is looking at these situations and being like, okay, well, I know that this was put in place. And I know you just tried to trick me. I know that you just tried to play on my mental. I know that that's what growth is. Okay? But what they didn't understand is it can't work on everybody. It's not supposed to. I heard it's not supposed to work on everybody. But the people that they think that they can do it too, it's like they try to size people up. And the people that they think they can do it too, that's when they try it, right? Their experiment. Spiritual guides, angels, ancestors of the purest and the highest light, only the truth and nothing but the truth here. Yeah. So Spirit is saying this is just like working for money, understanding that working for money, like, okay, like we know that the currency, and we know we need it to survive, whatever the case is, but understanding that the currency, I'm gonna say this, if we all was to just stop using US dollar and start creating our own kind of, like how back in the day it was, our own barter system, the US currency would die, right? So they make us believe that we need them, and we don't. That's just like after so-called slavery, all the acres and the mule, everybody was supposed to receive the acres and the mule, and a lot of people did not receive that. Okay, and we call judgment and demand immediate justice on that as well. This is just like capitalizing, right? Let's talk about this because we're going to tap a little bit into the lower self and the middle self energy still. Okay, so it's like understanding that, okay, land is free for real. They're capitalizing off of it. US dollar and currency is not real. We make it real, right? We make it real. By what? Using it. Allowing and accepting. Of course, once again, in today's time, we so-called needed to survive. But if we was to come together and actually just, you get what I'm saying? 333. Because you don't need an LLC for real. They make you believe that. They make you think that. And if you don't have one, they look down upon it. But when we think about back in, and it's really because they want, let me tell y'all, I'm gonna be honest, they want to know all of this stuff. They want to be in your business so much to see how much you're making because, oh, they can't make more than us. And oh, we need to know everything that's going on. They can't have one up, like they cannot get their stuff back. And it's like, no, we shall and we will. Okay, it is rightfully ours. It's the truth. So you making me pay for land when the land is free? Land of the free. Let's talk about it. Right? Because it is. This is believing, also making you to believe that you needed to work to have money, to make money. You needed to slave. You needed to have their jobs, but took your businesses away from you, took your land away from you. I remember back in the day, y'all, it was a law where it's like you couldn't even have a garden. Like you couldn't even grow crops. Y'all remember that? Why? We got to ask ourselves, why did they put that out there? That is mother. God literally gave us everything that we needed to sustain, and they're trying to take it away from us, or they so-called have. And God is saying, and Spirit is saying, your ancestors is saying, no, it is yours. It's yours. It's your land. It's yours. And so Spirit is saying the rerouting of the mind, the rerouting of the understanding, the understanding of all of this. Okay? Spiritual guides, angels, ancestors of the piercing the highest spotlight, only the truth and nothing but the truth. Yeah. And Spirit's like, you can move past that. Okay? It's something about, okay, I seen a quote and it said something about people think that it's something really just takes time, but really it just takes alignment. Meaning, if you believe that I can have it, it's mine. I mean, you can't, like, you know what I'm saying? If you rewire your mind, Spirit is saying, I need you to understand that we will move on your behalf. We will make it happen as you see it. But because they have placed these illusions in front of you, because they have tried to oppress you, because they have tried to do all of these things, it creates a blockage, an illusion of a blockage. But Spirit is like, if you stick to your beliefs or the real beliefs or the truth, we will move. You will move out of that oppressed energy. Okay? That's why, like, when I had first found out, like, oh, everybody trying to, and this was like 2001, and I started noticing, like, and look what's happening. No, this is real. Oh my God, it's actually real happening in today's time. What the freak? We call judgment, we do minimum, just, oh my gosh. Thank you, Spirit. So I remember 2021. God was tapping me into my gifts and who I truly am and stuff like that, right? And I said, dang, this is crazy, because it's like they started to, like, what's the word I'm looking for? They started to what's the word? What is the word, guys? They started to, like, make it a trend about witches and warlocks, right? Spiritual gifts and using and doing this on people, black magic, and they made that a trend. And I said, that's crazy. Okay, I said, they know what they're trying to do. They opened us up to our true roots, right? About manifestation and things like that. But they're also creating war at the same. They're trying to create war at the same time. And I say, that's dangerous. And this is why knowledge does need to be kept sacred. But some of it, and I said, that's dangerous, because now what happens is people that are still in their low vibrational energy and don't truly understand what it's truly for and all this other stuff, it makes people want to go against one another, do black magic on each other, versus tearing down the oppressed energies, right? Because we're dealing with a bigger, right? We're dealing with a bigger problem versus these micro, like you want to do black magic on somebody because they have good hair. Okay, that's weird, right? Or you want to do black magic on somebody because you can't get over something that happened 10 years ago, right? That's mediocre, right? You want to do black magic on somebody because they have love. They're pretty. You want to do beauty spells? You want to do, like, and it's weird. And look at what's happening, y'all. People literally are doing it to each other versus using your roots, to get your roots back. All of that other stuff don't matter. It doesn't matter, y'all. If you have not seen the video where I talked about, it's not about the material. It's not about the material. You need to go watch that. It's not about the material. Okay? So, I'm going to leave that there because we already at 40 minutes, y'all. We're going to get into this higher self energy. Okay? Let's talk about this higher self energy. Okay. So, it's things like that, y'all. All right. Hold on. Let me get this up because we need the space. Spiritual guides, angels, ancestors of the purest and the highest white light, only the truth and nothing but the truth. Uh-oh. Yeah, it's okay. Ooh. The truth and nothing but the truth. Higher self energy. Yeah, I think we even touched base on the higher self energy. Okay, so let's see. Spiritual guides, angels, ancestors of the purest and the highest white light, only the truth and nothing but the truth. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The higher perception of spirit is like growth. This is what growth truly is. Growing from the hurt and the pain that they have tried to control. Look, growing from the hurt, the pain, the control, right? Them hurting you. A lot of you could have been abused by these oppressors or certain oppressors, right? These people could have tried to control you, right? This is abuse of authority. Spirit's like, with this higher self energy, it is the truth, baby. You have authority. As long as you're in the upright, like it's like nothing can fail. As long as you in the upright, as long as it's like peace, right? Now, if they come to you on some other stuff and because somebody, you have the right. I'm not going to get too deep into it. You know, you can't say, you know, because these people did all of this. And it's like, well, you can't tell somebody how they want their justice. You can't tell somebody how they're going to get their just due. Like, you cannot, like, spiritually. And this is the thing, like, they want us to look at a lot of things on the surface level when it's really, you know, higher than that. This is more spiritual than physical. Okay. So spirit's like growing from it all, seeing the higher perception that somebody, you either could have grown from this or you're growing from this. And this is where a lot of your nonchalant energy is coming from. This is where it's like I'm picking up energy where like you used to feed into certain things and you don't feed into certain things anymore. Okay, it's because you're growing. Like somebody, you're growing. You're it's like they try to put you in a box. And it's like you're outgrowing this box. And now the box is like breaking because you're outgrowing it. You get what I'm saying? It's like the chains are being broken. The chains are being loosened, okay? Torn off of you. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Higher perception is you are cared for. Somebody you need to understand you are cared for. Yes, you are. No matter what these energies do. But it's like, it's this energy of you have to know that. You have to know that it's yours. You have to know that you can let this go at any time. Because when you go to a different state, and I wouldn't say state, but you go to a different country, certain countries, this is why it's good to travel. And this is why they try to stop the travel thingy or try to make it a little bit hard. And because when you go to different countries, they don't operate like the U.S. They don't operate like the U.S. So then when you travel and you see the different ways that people live, it's like, whoa, y'all really doing that to us. It's like, whoa, like I can really be living with my feet kicked up for real. But y'all want to slave us. Y'all want to oppress us. Like y'all want to stay in control. And it's something, y'all. Okay. It's something. Let's see what else. 4-4 again, y'all. Higher self energy. What else here? Spiritual guides, angels, ancestors. Yeah. Okay. Spirit is also saying like, somebody, you went through a lot of things in your life or in put in certain places. 444 Ooh, okay, somebody, you are protected in that physical and spiritual. I just picked that up a look. So it's like, what was I finna say? Yeah, somebody, you were put into certain places and environments, right? Because spirit needed to wake you up. Like that was the only way to wake you up so that you can see the truth about the world, okay, that you live in the world that they try to throw you in, right? I'm picking up the Chance the Rapper song, a channel, and he says, well, he said, I inherit the earth because the earth is yours, right? So it's like, somebody, you were put into certain positions, you were put in certain places so that you can see the truth about what they were truly doing or what they are truly doing. Think about this, right? If somebody was behind bars, or you could say this, in a home, in the system, right? And then these people think you know, you don't have parents, you don't have family, you don't have this. And so these people that were put in place to watch you, to protect you, to love you, to care for you, and certain things start happening in these households, right? Or things start happening in these facilities. But because you got to think about it, oh, they're in jail. So, we're automatically going to look down upon them. Like, you can't believe nothing that they say. You can't, like, this is the narrative that they try to paint. But in reality, you didn't even know they were innocent. In reality, you didn't even know they didn't do that crime. In reality, you don't even know that they were abused in that place. In reality, this is why they're saying all of these things about these people in places. And you got to think, why are they saying this person is like this and like that and like that and like that? And it don't make sense, because when you go to study this person, it's like they're not like that. So what's really going on? Then not only that, it's like energies where it's like, say for a child acts out, right? So let's talk about oh, and that's what I was about to say, right? So these two go hand in hand. Say, for instance, a child acts out. And they're just like, oh, that child is bad. But whole time, that child was getting abused, right? So they're acting out. But it's not even so much acting out in a sense of, it's that fight or flight energy. What did I say? It's the fight or flight energy. People don't abide by the authorities. It's because 9 times out of 10, they either know their place rightfully or they were abused by an authority figure. Okay? But nobody wants to believe them when they go to the police department, or when they go to certain family members, or when they speak about it or they talk about it. Nobody believes them. Why is that? The whole time they're innocent, right? So these are the games that are being played, have been played. Okay? And people are wondering, like, I don't see it. I don't understand. It's a game. It's the game that has been running this world for quite some time. Okay? Spiritual guides, angels, ancestors, the peers in the highest white light only. Y'all, this is why a lot of these people want to study you, is because, you know, they want to see how they can control you. All right. Somebody you just know. I'm gonna leave that there, y'all, because we dang near about to be an hour in. Y'all take what y'all need to take, leave the rest. The other channel is going to be posted down below. Okay, so just check that link out. I'm gonna leave that there. Okay. Y'all take what y'all need to take, leave the rest. But somebody, you're going through a transformation and spirit is helping you to understand a lot. Okay. And you're not tripping. Okay. It's like the oppressed energy is being released from you. So spirit is showing you all the ways, right, that they have tried to oppress you. Okay. And spirit is helping somebody to bring balance, understanding, and overstanding to this. When you go to a third world country, they not calling no police. They handling it on their own. You get what I'm saying? Y'all get what I'm saying? They just start a business. They don't need LLCs. They can grow crops. They don't need permission. They can go build a house on open land. Okay? I'm going to leave that there. Y'all take what y'all need to take. Leave the rest. And until next time, much love.